about the jobs in our main sectors of the economy. 13,000 jobs in finance, more jobs there now than there were in the pre-crisis levels of 2007. Increasing visitor numbers through the work of Visit Jersey, a strong construction sector and more employment opportunity for islanders in that area. Our economy grew by 2.2% in 2015. That was more than forecast. And the current indicators are that 2017 will continue with those positive trends. Average earnings in 2016 increased at a faster rate than inflation for the fourth consecutive year. That's important for policymakers because slowly, over time, it ensures that people feel slightly better in their pocket if their earnings are increasing greater than prices. So our proportion of working age people has also increased to 88%. And the Back to Work programme now sees the lowest level of unemployment for 6 years. Again, they're doing great work, but they must continue. The Joseph Rowntree Foundation has proposed a 5-point plan to solve UK poverty, and it makes interesting reading for us here in Jersey. It starts by making it clear that this is an issue for everyone: government, businesses and employers, service providers, investors and citizens. So it's not just up to government and big business. Yes, tackling social issues needs companies to behave responsibly. But we also need to be active, enabling government that promotes individual capacity and capability. And I think that that's what some of our systems already do. Jersey's contributory social security system supports individuals in old age, after bereavement, and at other times when they are not working. It represents a contract between state and individual. We contribute when we can and draw benefits when we need help getting back on track. Alongside that contributory system, we've got the income support system, and it's designed to support low-income households. It is an effective way to supplement the incomes of the many hard-working families on low incomes, to support the more vulnerable in our society and to ease people back into work. It makes work pay by disregarding a proportion of any income earned by a claimant. That proportion is due to rise to 25% in October. This means the financial incentive to find and stay in work will be at its strongest since the introduction of income support. The Jersey Old Age Pension goes up each year in line with earnings or prices to protect pensioners at times of low wage growth. We introduced the Long-Term Care Scheme in 2014, providing comprehensive support for people needing long-term care and protecting people on lower incomes from selling their homes to pay for care. We of course know that our income support system does not start providing for members of our community until they have lived in Jersey for 5 years. That was a decision of the President, I think he was at that time, and the State's Assembly. And it is an arrangement which now other jurisdictions and other countries are investigating to see if it's something that they should incorporate into their benefit provision. But social policy decisions are always a balance. I think that that 5-year balance is appropriate, but I recognise too that it creates problems and difficulties for some in our community, which I think government and the charitable sector need to work more hand in hand in order to resolve. And that's why it's a pleasure for me to be here today at this Caritas lecture, because I think you are showing at Caritas the work that can be undertaken in tackling some of these issues. I don't think broadly the Jersey taxpayer would want to see that 5-year barrier lowered. No doubt you're going to tell me afterwards if you think otherwise. We said in 2015 that we would support families by reviewing the services provided by different agencies, particularly for children in vulnerable families. And we have since agreed to the funding of $473,000 for 5 family support workers to help families before they reach crisis point. We are funding, of course, in education, the Jersey Premium to help the most vulnerable children reach their full potential. And we have agreed funding of $400,000 to start a project that helps to prepare people for becoming parents. This money will enable states, family nursing to work with NSPCC to deliver the award-winning Baby Steps programme to all expectant parents in Jersey. And we're also funding a social worker post supporting the work of NSPCC for young people who are the survivors of sexual abuse. 2.3 million has been allocated to support vulnerable children across our organisation in areas like early intervention for families, children's change programme, investigators for police public protection unit, a sexual assault referral centre, youth workers and a counsellor for youth inquiry service. We are determined to help those who need it and help earlier than we ever have before. There must be, and we are determined to create, a level playing field for all of those who grow up in our island. When it comes to housing, we've invested $250 million in improving housing for those who need support. Andium has refurbished more than 150 homes, and it will get all existing homes up to the decent home standards by 2020. They've also so far built 227 new affordable homes, and there are plans to build 850 more on sites around Ancourt, Biscay and Summerland. And the Small Housing Trust are also doing valuable work to meet the island's housing need, ensuring islanders have access to affordable homes. And that's important when I refer back to what I said about the income distribution survey and the positive contribution that tax and benefits makes, the negative contribution that the cost of housing makes. But as we start, or as we are developing, and a long way down the road, our population policy for publication this year, we are considering how to acknowledge employers who play their full part in developing opportunities for everyone in our community, like engaging with Back to Work, Trackers and the Jersey Employment Trust, and providing relevant training for their staff, only using 0-hours contracts appropriately, and making a commitment to work towards paying what today am referring to as the Caritas living wage. A new scheme might also look at how employers support schools or community groups, building relationships with their customers and the workers of tomorrow. And it can only be right that the states of Jersey should lead the way as a good employer. Currently, the lowest salary scale for civil servants is £9.45. I'm informed, as of an hour ago, that we have 2 individuals on that scale, and they are interns. I recognise that this falls below the living wage work that you did. And I have therefore asked my staff to ensure to increase this to the Caritas rate. The lowest,